Hey YouTubers, welcome back to this channel. It's going to be another quick video based on a faulty power brake booster that's causing a vacuum leak. It's not a severe vacuum leak, but it is actually leaking. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys real quick the steps I took to determine that there was some type of vacuum leak on the engine. So the first thing I did was to hook up the scan tool. I pretty much chose these 5 PIDs, short-term, long-term, RPM, and both upstream and downstream O2 sensors. As you can see at the moment, we see that the long-term is around 11.72%, which is slightly above that 10% of plus or minus. But during the initial diag, actually this long-term was actually around 16 to 17% at idle. Right now, short-term seems to be fluctuating within spec of the ideal fuel terms, plus or minus 5%. So we're good in that part of the short-term. Now, so the only symptom that the customer mentioned, that from time to time when she would, hit on the brake, that she would tend to have some type of braking, some brake pulsation on her brake pedal, but it wasn't all the time. It was for, like I said, she said that it was from time to time. The pedal would tend to vibrate or have that pulsation symptom. Who knows if this is caused because of this faulty brake booster that's having a vacuum leak. I'm not 100% sure if that's the main reason, or maybe there's a chance that maybe her tires, might be the problem, or warped brake rotors. I did drive the vehicle. During my initial drive test, I really didn't feel that braking pulsation that she mentioned on the brake pedal. So it's like an intermittent type problem. So depending on the severity of the vacuum leak around the brake booster, perhaps that's when the brake pedal tends to pulsate. Alright, so currently the long term shows around 11.72 at idle. Now, if I raise the RPM to about 1,000, we see that our long term will go up. So there we go. We'll go about 1,000. So about 1,000 RPM. We'll see that long term went to 17.97. Short term is trying to counter the long term. 1,500. So at 1,800, long term went to 14.06. Short term fluctuating between positive 10, positive 5, positive 1. So it's actually fluctuating all over. Now if I go 25, long term should drop again. So at 27, 28, still stuck at 14. But as soon as it hit 3,100, we see a long term drop to 0.78. That's already an indication of a vacuum leak. I let go of the accelerator. Our long term went back to 11.72. So just by raising the RPMs, that gave me already an indication that the problem was a vacuum leak somewhere in the engine. So now let me go out there and show you guys the obvious, because as soon as I opened up the hood, the first thing I heard was a hissing sound around the brake booster area. Alright, so let me show you guys real quick. Alright guys, so I'm here around the brake booster, around the master brake cylinder. I'm not sure if the camera is picking it up, but there's that hissing sound. Hopefully you guys can hear it. It's actually hissing just around the area where the brake master cylinder attaches to the brake booster. So the first thing I did was to use a brake cleaner around the brake booster where the master cylinder attaches to. So Let me set up and then show you guys. Alright guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and use some brake cleaner from AutoZone. I'm gonna spray around the brake booster area where the master cylinder lives. So two things are gonna happen: either the engine's gonna run rough, or the engine's gonna potentially stall. So here we go. So right now the engine's actually running rough. So if I spray enough brake cleaner, we see that the engine actually stalled. So that's just pretty much an indication that we do have a vacuum leak around that area of the brake booster. Alright, so now let me do it again and then show you guys the fuel trims, especially on short term. Alright guys, so as I apply the brake cleaner once again, let's watch our short term fuel trims. Our short term fuel trims should go negative, so here we go. So it shows about -6, -4, -7, -8. Our RPMs did drop below 700. Do it one more time. RPM went down below 700 once again. Short term went to -12, -11, back to -2. So that's another confirmation that this vehicle brake booster is leaking vacuum. Alright, so the next step I'm going to do for you guys, I'm going to perform a smoke test around the brake booster and show you guys that this booster is leaking. And then finally I'm going to perform the check valve on the booster to show you guys, you know, how to check it to see if it's working properly. I've already checked it. It's, you know, it's actually in good condition, so that's not the cause of this vacuum leak. Alright guys, so let me set up with the smoke machine and then show you guys. Alright guys, so I have the hose connected where the check valve lives. I've already removed the check valve, just right here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the smoke machine on. So there we go. So the smoke machine is going to create that smoke. So as the brake booster gets filled with smoke, we're going to see that smoke coming mostly from this side of the brake booster. So here we go. See that smoke? Hopefully the camera can pick it up. So that's where the brake booster is actually leaking, where the brake master cylinder connects with the brake booster. See all that smoke coming out, especially from this side, and also around this area of the portion of the hood. It's also leaking vacuum through there, I mean smoke. Alright guys, so I guess the last thing I'm gonna do for you guys is to just do the basic test on the check valve for this brake booster. Alright, so let me set up and then show you guys. Alright guys, so I'm going to do a little quick check on this brake booster check valve. I've already done it. It's actually working fine. But pretty much the way to check it is to apply pressure on this side of the check valve port. And the check valve shouldn't allow any pressure or air past the check valve. But when you actually suck air through this port, it should actually allow the valve to open up and allow any air pressure inside the brake booster to be purged back into the engine. So pretty much pressure should go this way, outside but not inside. You know, you could easily use your mouth, you know, to perform these tests, but I'm going to use actually the old tool, SDT 202. smoke leak detector, and I'm going to use the air pressure side of the machine. So I'm going to actually apply the 12 volts to the machine. Alright, so here's the vacuum or the air hose. So I'm going to go ahead, as you can see, this hose is actually applying pressure, air pressure. So I'm going to put in on this side of the check valve, and let's watch our needle on the machine. That needle should actually go up as I apply air pressure, and that pretty much indicates that the check valve is working well, fine. It's not allowing any pressure past the check valve. So there you go. Now, if you pretty much put the air hose on this side of the check valve, it should allow, you know, some type of air past the valve. There you go. So this is pretty much acting like if it was the brake booster. You know, so when you apply the brake, it depletes all the vacuum back into the engine. So there you go. So pretty much remember that the purpose of this check valve is to allow vacuum to be sealed inside the brake booster to help you brake assist. So to give you that ease of brake pedal, instead of having a hard pedal, it's going to give you that smooth braking. Alright guys, so